Oh, run flat tires don't always work. In this case, I was trying to refill this tire and air kept leaking out of this puncture right here. And it turns out that I had a very long piece of metal that was run over in a construction zone and punctured the run flat area. In this YouTube video, I'm going to show you how these tires work, exactly what you need to do to replace them, and what it looks like when you're done, along with 10 tips and tricks to make this process easier along the way. These run flat tires are from China and they have this rubber lining in there. And you'll see when I push this pick all the way through that it doesn't create a good seal anymore around that piece of metal that used to be in there. And that's why it doesn't seal up. But that's how they're supposed to function. That rubber gasket seal in there is supposed to seal up whatever punctures it and keep air from leaking. So I ended up ordering a couple of new exact replacement tires from China. The first set that I got didn't have the rubber lining in it. You can see that they're kind of sticky just on the inside. I'll cover more on how these tires work and why you have to replace them once they run flat later in the video. Let's go ahead and start by taking off this piece of plastic that's a cover for the screws that are inside of here that hold on the mount bracket. And once we take off this piece of plastic on both sides, will actually have access to those rear nuts that hold the tire onto the rear part of the scooter. This is an 18mm nut, and we're going to go ahead and use this socket to loosen these 18mm nuts on both sides of it to get the tire out. You may want to use some kind of cheater bar to extend the length of your wrench because these things are on pretty tight and they're torqued down pretty well on both sides, and it's actually pretty difficult to get them started. Another option here is an impact wrench. I have several but chose not to use one on this project. I'm also balancing this scooter with one hand and using my other hand to loosen the nuts. What you may want to do is put a block of wood underneath the center part of it to hold it up so you don't have to do that. Next up, we're going to remove these safety washers. They have little tabs that lock into place once they go down over the post. You want to take those off on both sides. Once you've removed those safety washers, you can pull the wheel straight out of the insert. You're going to have to take some snips and cut the wire tie that holds the power cable to the motor out so that you can manipulate the wheel. In this case, I had to let the air out of this tire because I tried mounting the incorrect tire to the scooter. You can use a 2x4 to protect the yoke and the rim from scratching. I ordered this kit off of Amazon to help me get the tire off. This is actually a bicycle changing kit, but the tire levers are what I wanted out of this. You can see here that the wheel hub protectors don't work because they're too wide and the tire can't slip off over the rim of the hub. So what I did was I went and found an old hose, plastic hose, and I cut it, and then I cut it in half and I wiped out the insides of it once I was done with that and used those pieces as rim protectors on the wheel so that when I used those $12 Amazon tire spoons to try and get the tire off, I wouldn't actually scratch the rim any more than I had already done. See how they easily slip down over the rim of the tire and allow you to get the tire spoon inside the lip of the tire and are able to pull the tire off over the edge. This is somewhat of an intricate process because you need to use all three of these tire spoons to get enough leverage around one half of the tire to actually get the edge of the rim of the tire off. Once I get 2 tire spoons down, I'm going to get that third one in and be able to pop the tire off of the edge. Once you get one half of the tire off, the first half that I've worked on now, you'll actually be able to pull the second half off pretty easily. You don't need the tire spoons to get that off. You can actually just pull it and it'll come off. Yeah, the rim's a little bit scratched up and I got dinged in some older videos for not protecting the rim. So this time around, I'm going to show you how to do that. This is what the new tire looks like. It's a 250 by 64. And again, you should be able to get that first side over the lip of the hub without using any tire spoons. It's the second part that's the tricky part. From here, you're just going to repeat the other process in reverse. Go ahead and put those rim protectors on. But you know, I found out later that I really didn't need that because the leverage that I'm trying to use is against the tire this time and not necessarily against the hub. So I went ahead and pulled those protectors off. I tried just sliding the spoons around to lay the tire on effectively, but that didn't work. So I ended up using some clamps to this 2x4 that I had to hold the leverage of the first half of the tire as I went ahead and tried to work the rest of the tire around. I used some dish soap and water combined in a water bottle as a lubricant that I sprayed all around the edge of the tire to help it slide down more evenly around the edges and make it a little bit easier for me. It still didn't work all that well. It maybe helped a little bit, but I've used it in the past and it has helped some. I ended up just tightening the clamps around the rim and the tire to try and hold it as I worked with that tire spoon to get it the rest of the way down. This is finally when I was successful at getting the lip of the tire around the edge of the hub. The biggest challenge here in these run flat tires is there's that sticky liner in there, and you can't compress the tires too much or they will stick to themselves and you'll ruin part of that run flat stickiness. And if you do that and squeeze them too tight, the tire will thin out and stick to itself and you'll have a really difficult time getting it inflated. So be extra judicious on using those clamps and actually clamping down the tire itself. You don't want to do that. You only want to hold it just enough to get your leverage. Because these tire spoons that I ordered from Amazon came with new valve inserts, I went ahead and took out the old valve inserts and just replaced that. It's always a good idea to do that anyway. This one is about a year old at this point, so good idea to go ahead and pull that out and put a new one in with new gaskets on it. One of the challenges that you might face is that it's really hard to get a good bead on that tire if you've compressed it too much. So in this case, that just fell over. But in this case, I just used tie down straps to cinch the tire from the middle parts, hoping that the edges would squeeze out and be tighter against the lip of that hubless motor. And that actually worked for me. So once I got this strap cinched down, I was able to turn it over and use an air compressor to fill it up. I don't think they recommend using an air compressor for something like this, but for me, it makes the job a little bit easier. And I was able to fill the tire up successfully so that I could go ahead and remount it on the yoke. Just know that if you use an air compressor for a job like this, you need to be super careful that you're not overinflating the tire and potentially popping it after putting in all that work to get it on the rim. When you're ready to remount that tire and wheel motor back onto the yoke, make sure that you have the power cable lined up correctly and the slotted axle fits in there correctly. You're going to pull those safety washers back out and slide those in to make sure that the motor doesn't slip back out accidentally, and start tightening down those 18mm nuts again. You're going to want to tighten those down pretty good because they started out fairly tight, and that's one of the most important things that's going to keep that wheel on the back of the scooter. Make sure that that wheel is lined up straight and spins straight so that you don't have uneven wear. In this case, I'm using another wire tie to go ahead and cinch down that power cable that runs into the motor. Make sure that when you do that, that the power cable doesn't touch the motor or the wheel at all, because if it does, it'll rub up against the tire and you may have issues later on down the road. You're going to put those two plastic pieces back on the outside using the two Phillips head screws that you took out from each side earlier. I'm still going to explain why you need to replace these tires if they run flat, but please like and subscribe if you enjoy this content. Once you're done with that, you're going to pop in those outside reflector pieces back onto the edge of the scooter, and you should be pretty close to done. Make sure you're checking that tire for the right tire pressure again, and that everything is inflated as it should be and it's not leaking at all. You may have to take the scooter out and ride it around a little bit to make sure that the tire is seated correctly on the rim, especially if you notice it just being slightly off in different places. We took it out for a test run, everything worked, and once we brought it back, I rechecked that tire pressure again to make sure that everything was good. One point about these run flat tires is that once you run them down and you're running the tire flat, what it's going to do is press against the sidewall of that tire, and you're going to bust the seal that you have around the rubber lining that's inside the tire. So if you run it flat too much, you're going to bust that seal out, and you're going to have to replace the tire anyway because it's going to be compromised, especially if it's not holding air anymore. Obviously, you're going to have to replace it. But if you run it too long as flat, then the run flat's not going to function as well.